ignore these basic life-supporting things like vitamins. So let me go a little bit into vitamin D deficiency. I wrote a chapter, a free chapter, on vitamin D deficiency because the medical textbooks are all wrong. Frankly, they tell you to give a fixed dose, like the 2,000 that my doctor told me to take, and 50% of people who are given this advice will not have good vitamin D levels. So this is creating a real nonchalance, if you will, within the medical community, because they're not seeing people get better because they're giving the wrong dose. And what we have now is a real problem. The data says that 70% of Americans are now vitamin D deficient, less than 30 nanograms per ml. And what we notice here on the graph is that severe vitamin D deficiency, less than 20, we usually associate this as a disease of aging, is what doctors are taught. Incorrect. It actually starts to peak at age 10 to 19, exactly when you finish high school. The peak incidence is 20 to 29, so these are our young generation. 70% of our young generation are living with chronic fatigue, insomnia, foggy brain, feeling like they're treading water, barely able to get by, simply because of a vitamin D deficiency. So what do we know about vitamin D? Sunshine is our most natural source, but if you have darker pigmentation, or if you're an ethnic minority, you're more likely not to get sufficient vitamin D from sunshine alone. And we also know from science that the correct dose is going to depend on your weight and how low that vitamin D is. None of the doctors today, most doctors today, don't even account for this when they tell you your vitamin D dose. So generally, I just want to make a statement. I recommend levels of 40 to 80 nanograms per ml. Why? Because these are the levels that we actually evolved from. When we were outdoor and more foraging hunter-gatherers, we typically were on average about 50 nanograms per ml. And the research says that these levels reduce your risk of developing all the diseases we don't want to get as we get older. Diabetes, dementia, heart disease, diabetes, the same diagnosis that I had when I was only in my 20s. So, so I wrote this free chapter because it's censored on by the medical publishing industry because they don't want people to know this. So I don't care, so I just published it for free. Everything's now social media. Who wants to buy a textbook to learn about medicine and health? So it's all for free now. So if you want to be an expert on vitamin D, I invite you to check out the blog.